You wake up before dawn. The alarm cuts through the silence like a blade. You don't need it. Your body already knows. It's been conditioned. Years of this routine have carved the pattern into your nervous system. You rise, you dress, you eat something quick, you leave. The factory is 10 minutes away. You walk. The streets are empty. Other workers move in the same direction. Silent figures in the half-light. No one speaks. There's nothing to say. You're all going to the same place. You're all doing the same thing. You arrive. The gates are open. You clock in. The machine stamps your card. 7 o'clock. The shift begins. You take your position on the floor. The machinery hums. The belt starts moving. Your hands move automatically. Pick up, inspect, place down, repeat. Pick up, inspect, place down. The rhythm is hypnotic. Your mind wanders, but your hands never stop. They can't. The belt doesn't stop. Around you, others do the same. Rows of workers, rows of machines, everyone performing their function. You're part of a system, a cog. That's not poetry, that's fact. The factory needs you to function, but it doesn't need you specifically. Anyone can stand where you're standing. Anyone can do what you're doing. You understand this. The owner understands it too.
His name is on the building. You see it every day. Bold letters above the entrance. A family name. Old money. Generational wealth. He inherited the factory from his father. His father built it in 1952. Post-war boom, demand was high, labor was cheap. The business grew. Now it's worth millions. You've never met him, not directly. You've seen him once. He came through the floor with investors. They wore suits. They smiled. They pointed at things. They didn't look at you. They looked at the machinery. They looked at the output numbers on clipboards. They nodded. They left. You kept working. The factory produces parts, small metal components. They go into larger machines. Those machines go into cars. Those cars go everywhere. The parts are essential. Without them, the machines don't work. Without the machines, the cars don't run. The supply chain depends on this factory, on these parts, on you. You produce 300 parts per shift. Every worker does. There are 40 workers per shift, 3 shifts per day. That's 36,000 parts daily. The factory operates 6 days a week. That's over 1 million parts per month. Each part sells for $12. You earn $18 per hour. You work 8 hours. That's $144 per day, before taxes. After taxes, you take home about $115. You produce parts worth $3,600 daily. You earn $115. The math is simple. You create value, you receive a fraction. The rest goes up.
This is not theft. This is not illegal. This is wage labor. This is how the system works. You sign a contract, you agree to terms. You sell your time, you sell your effort, you sell your body's capacity to produce. In exchange, you receive a wage. The wage is fixed. The value you create is not. When demand is high, the parts sell for more. When the factory is efficient, costs go down. When profits rise, the owner benefits. When profits fall, you're laid off. You absorb the risk, he absorbs the reward. This arrangement has a history. England, 1760. The Industrial Revolution begins. Before this, most people work for themselves. Farmers own their land, artisans own their tools, blacksmiths own their forges. They control their production. They sell their goods. They keep the profit. Then the factories arrive. New machines, steam engines, power looms, spinning jennies. These machines can produce more than any individual. They're expensive. Most people can't afford them. Only the wealthy can. They build factories. They buy the machines. They need workers to operate them. The workers don't own the machines. They don't own the factory. They don't own what they produce. They own only their labor. They sell it by the hour. They become employees. This is the birth of wage labor. The owner owns the means of production. The worker owns nothing but time and effort. The owner pays the worker a wage. The worker produces goods. The goods are sold. The profit belongs to the owner. Karl Marx called this exploitation. Not because the owner is cruel, not because the worker is abused, but because the structure itself extracts surplus value. The worker creates more value than they receive. The difference is profit. Profit blows upward, always.
You don't think about marks. You think about your paycheck. You think about rent. You think about groceries. You think about the electric bill. You think about your daughter's school surprise. You think about the car that needs new tires. You think about survival. The wage covers survival. Barely. There's no margin, no buffer. One unexpected expense and you're in debt. One missed shift and you're short. The system keeps you close to the edge, close enough that you can't leave, close enough that you can't risk losing this job. You need this job more than this job needs you. The owner knows this. Production increases. The factory is doing well. Orders are up. The company is expanding. The owner buys new machinery, faster equipment, more efficient systems. Output doubles. The same number of workers now produce twice as much. Your wage stays the same. Productivity has increased. Value creation has increased. Your pay has not. The extra value goes to the owner. He's investing it, expanding, opening another facility, hiring more workers, building his empire. You're still making $18 per hour. You've been here 5 years. You've received 2 raises, 50 cents each time. Your wage has increased by $1 in 5 years. Inflation has increased by 12%. Your real wage has decreased. You're earning less than when you started in real terms. You're producing more. You're earning less. This is normal. This is expected. This is capitalism functioning correctly.
The psychology of this derangement is corrosive. You see the owner's car in the parking lot, a luxury sedan, new model. You see his clothes, expensive, tailored. You see the way people defer to him, the respect, the attention, the power. You see what your labor has built. His wealth is your production. Every part you make adds to his fortune. Every hour you work expands his empire. Your effort becomes his success. Your exhaustion becomes his comfort. And you watch. You watch him profit. You watch him grow richer. You watch the gap widen. The distance between you and him increases daily, not because you're working less, not because you're less skilled, but because the system channels value upward. Your labor enriches him. His ownership enriches him. Your labor does not enrich you. This creates resentment, quiet, persistent, unspoken. You don't talk about it, none of the workers do, but everyone feels it. The unfairness, the imbalance, the knowledge that you're being used. You're not a person. You're a resource. You're a factor of production. Labor, a line item on a spreadsheet, a cost to be minimized. Psychologists call this alienation, a term Marx used, a feeling of disconnection. You are disconnected from your work. You don't own what you make. You don't control how it's made. You don't benefit from its sale. The parts move down the belt and disappear. You never see the final product. You never see the car. You never see the customer. You're alienated from the process. You perform one small task, repetitive, meaningless in isolation. You're a fragment of a larger system. You don't understand the system. You just serve it. You're alienated from yourself. Your labor is not an expression of your skill. It's not creative. It's not fulfilling. It's mechanical. Your body performs motions. Your mind endures. You become an instrument, a tool wielding tools. You're alienated from others. The workers around you are not colleagues. They're competitors. You're all replaceable. You all know it. There's no solidarity, no unity, just survival, just endurance. And you're alienated from the owner. He is distant, unreachable. He exists in a different world. His interests are not your interests. His success is not your success. His profit is your exploitation. This alienation damages you, psychologically, emotionally, physically. Studies show that workers in repetitive, low-control jobs have higher rates of depression, higher rates of anxiety, higher rates of cardiovascular disease. Your body keeps score. The stress accumulates. The resentment festers. You're being consumed. History is full of this pattern. Ancient Rome, slaves built the empire. They quarried the stone. They constructed the roads. They harvested the grain. They created the wealth that made Rome powerful. They received nothing. They were property. tools. Their labor enriched the patrician class. The senators, the landowners, the slaveholders watched the slaves work. They profited from every drop of sweat, every ounce of effort. And they felt entitled. They believed this was natural. The gods ordained it. Some were born to rule, others were born to serve. Medieval Europe, feudalism. Peasants worked the land. They planted, they harvested, they produced the food. They gave most of it to the Lord. In exchange, they received protection, shelter, permission to live on the land. The Lord owned the land. The Lord owned their labor. The Lord grew fat while they starved. The lords watched the peasants toil. They taxed them, they controlled them, and they felt justified. This was the order of things, God's plan. The nobility ruled, the peasantry obeyed. Colonial America, plantation slavery, enslaved people picked cotton. They produced enormous wealth. The cotton fed the textile mills in England. It fueled the Industrial Revolution. It made fortunes. The plantation owners became rich beyond measure. They lived in mansions. They wore fine clothes. They hosted lavish parties. The enslaved watched. They knew. Their bodies were broken to build this wealth. Their children were sold to finance this luxury. Their labor created everything. They received only chains. Every system of exploitation follows this same structure. One group produces, another group owns. The owners profit, the producers survive. The owners accumulate, the producers endure. The owners always watch the producers work, and the producers always know they're being watched, being measured, being used. You take your lunch break, 30 minutes. You sit in the break room. Others sit nearby. You eat food from home, a sandwich, an apple. You drink water from a plastic bottle. You don't talk much, there's not much to say. The television is on. News, financial news. The stock market is up. Tech companies are soaring. Billionaires are wealthier than ever. The reporter lists numbers. Millions, billions, trillions. The numbers are abstract, incomprehensible, meaningless. You earn $37,000 per year before taxes. The owner of your company has a net worth of $80 million. He could give every worker a $10,000 bonus and still have millions left. You won't. That's not how this works. The break ends. You return to the floor. The belt is moving. Your hands resume. Pick up, inspect, place down. The rhythm returns. The hours pass slowly. The factory is profitable because you're cheap. Labor costs are the largest expense. The owner minimizes them. He pays minimum wage where possible. He avoids overtime. He hires part-time workers to avoid benefits. He resists unionization. Unions demand higher wages, better conditions. He can't have that. It cuts into profit. He lobbies politicians. He donates to campaigns. He funds organizations that oppose labor regulations. He supports right-to-work laws. He supports deregulation. He supports policies that weaken workers' power. This is not personal. This is business. His interest is profit. Your interest is irrelevant. The system protects him. Property rights are sacred. His ownership of the factory is protected by law, by police, by courts. If you tried to take what you produce, you'd be arrested. If you tried to stop working, you'd be replaced. If you tried to organize, you'd be fired. The state enforces this arrangement. It always has. Throughout history, the state has sided with the owners. Roman legions suppressed slave revolts. Medieval armies crushed peasant uprisings. Colonial militias hunted escaped slaves. Modern police break strikes. Power protects power.
You're not powerless. Collectively, workers have power. History proves this. Labor movements, strikes, unions. The 8-hour workday didn't come from generosity. It came from struggle. Child labor laws, minimum wage, workplace safety regulations. All of these came from workers organizing, fighting, demanding. The owner fears this, not you individually, but workers collectively. If the factory workers unite, they can shut down production. They can demand higher wages, better conditions, profit sharing. If they strike, the factory stops. The owner loses money. The pressure builds. Concessions are made, but unity is hard. The owner divides you. He hires workers of different backgrounds, different languages, different races. He fosters competition. He offers small incentives, employee of the month, tiny bonuses. He creates hierarchy, supervisors, managers, foremen. Some workers oversee others. It creates division. It prevents solidarity. You see this, you feel it, but you don't act. You can't risk it. You have bills, you have responsibilities. You can't afford to be fired. You can't afford to lose this wage, even if it's insufficient, even if it's exploitative. It's survival. So you stay, you endure, you watch. Behavioral economics explains this trap. It's called loss aversion. People fear losses more than they value gains. You fear losing your current wage more than you desire a higher wage. The risk of unemployment outweighs the potential benefit of organizing. It's also called the sunk cost fallacy. You've invested years here. Walking away feels like waste. You tell yourself it will get better. You'll get promoted. You'll get a raise. You'll find a way forward. So you stay. You keep investing. You keep hoping. And then there's learned helplessness. Psychologist Martin Seligman studied this. Subjects exposed to inescapable stress stop trying to escape even when escape becomes possible. They've learned that effort is futile. You've learned this. Raises are minimal, promotions are rare, complaining achieves nothing. So you stop trying, you accept, you comply. The owner doesn't need to force you. The system has already conditioned you. You police yourself. You limit yourself. You accept your position. This is genius of the system. It doesn't require overt violence. It requires structure. It requires incentives and consequences. It requires conditioning. Over time, exploitation becomes normal, acceptable, invisible. You don't even see it anymore. You just live it.
The shift ends. You clock out. The machine stamps your card. 3 o'clock. You've worked 8 hours. You've produced parts worth $3,600. You've earned $144. You walk home. The streets are busier now. People moving, traffic, noise. You pass stores. You see things you can't afford. You see people who look comfortable. You wonder how they manage. You wonder if they're different, if they're smarter, if they work harder. You're not different. You're not lazy. You work hard. 8 hours daily. Physical labor. Repetitive. Exhausting. You're doing everything right. You're following the rules. And still, you're barely surviving. The problem isn't you. The problem is the structure. The problem is a system that values ownership over labor, capital over people, profit over dignity. The owner sits in his office. He reviews reports, quarterly earnings, profit margins, growth projections. The numbers are good, production is up, cost is stable, revenue is increasing. He's pleased. He doesn't think about you. He doesn't think about the workers on the floor. He thinks about expansion, about investment, about market share, about his competitors, about his wealth. He sees the factory as an asset, a machine that produces money. You're part of that machine. A necessary component, like the conveyor belt, like the stamping press. Useful, replaceable. He's not cruel. He's not evil. He's rational. He's acting in his interest. The system rewards him for extracting maximum value at minimum cost. He's playing the game correctly. He's winning. You're losing. And he's watching his numbers climb while you watch your body break.
This is the cycle. It's been the cycle for centuries. It will be the cycle tomorrow. The owner's profit. The workers endure. Value flows upward. Pain flows downward. The system sustains itself. It reproduces itself. It justifies itself. You'll wake up before dawn again. You'll walk to the factory again. You'll clock in again. Your hands will move again. Pick up, inspect, place down. The belt will move. The hours will pass. The wage will barely cover survival. The owner will grow richer, and you'll watch. Because you have no choice. Because you need this job. Because survival demands it. You'll watch your labor become his wealth. You'll watch your effort become his comfort. You'll watch your pain become his profit. This is what it means to be a worker in a system designed to extract. You don't just labor, you witness your own exploitation. You see it happening. You understand the mechanics, and still you participate. Because the alternative is worse. Because the structure offers no exit. You're trapped, not by chains, but by necessity, by debt, by responsibility, by fear. The cage is invisible, but absolute. And every day, you see the person who built the cage living free. That's why it sucks. Not just the labor, not just the wage, but the knowing, the watching, the inescapable awareness that you're being used, that your life is fuel for someone else's fortune, that you matter only as a function, as a resource, as a cost. You are not seen. You are calculated. And the calculation is simple. You produce,
he profits. You exhaust yourself, he accumulates. You age, he endures. You are consumed, he expands. The system doesn't care about fairness, it cares about efficiency. It cares about profit. And profit demands your pain, your time, your body, your years. So you give them. Because you must. And tomorrow, you'll give them again.